Welcome to this fifth module of our course on transformational leadership, strategy, and governance. And in this module, we're going to be focusing in particularly on the leader, on the qualities of transformational leadership. Before we go in to look at some details around the different levels and stages and qualities of transformational leaders, I just want to speak a bit about what does it mean to think in developmental terms about leadership. So this map we've seen earlier that looks at different forms of leadership that come out of these different levels of development, different ones being appropriate in different contexts. And what we're going to do in the next session is look at 3 levels of leadership, fairly advanced stages of leadership, to give you a sense of the kind of leadership that's really needed for these times that we're in. But I'd like to qualify that a little bit first. So if we look at these 3 points here, these are just important points to take in as we talk in developmental terms, generally, but in this context specifically about leadership. So stages of development, moving from one to another. It's important to take into account that no one stage is better than another stage. The general directionality of development is of increasing complexity, which is very natural if you think about it, because one stage gives birth to the next stage. And therefore that next stage encompasses the previous stage and adds on a new layer. Like the S-curves, you create a set of problems, we've solved those with a new solution, and then that creates problems, and you need a new level of complexity to be able to transcend those problems as well as the original ones. So the general directionality is increasing complexity, an ability to hold more of reality in one's awareness. But the question all the time is which form of leadership fits best to the different contexts. So we don't all need to be leaders at the top of this kind of developmental pathway. That might not be suitable for different contexts, but we are focusing on those because we're looking at complexity and rapidity of change in society that does require that form of leadership. But it doesn't dismiss other developmental levels of leadership. It just says, given the conditions that we're focusing on around complexity, this is the kind of leadership that's needed. Development itself is dynamic and flexible. So it's not you suddenly move from here to here and then here to here. It's a messy business development. It's important to hold the concept of stages lightly. They're a data point. They give us some information, but no one is ever only one stage. We're always composites. We're kind of halfway between one and another. Maybe we got a bit more developed in our emotional intelligence, a bit further on our cognitive intelligence. Our interpersonal intelligence is at another stage. So it's never as simple as it looks in the models, but it gives us a bit of a sense of where somebody might be in the different worldviews, ways of looking at the world that they're holding. And the final point here is that stages, which is what we're looking at here, stages of development, are only one element in anybody's profile, in a leader's profile. We can also be looking at personality types as an influence. Which personality type is most influencing this person? Or which states are they able to access? So are they able to shift from a kind of being really in the nuts and bolts to a more open state of awareness where they're picking up kind of more subtle information about things? So those are also other elements. So to summarize the point here, it's really just important to be aware of the fact that understanding stages is one piece of the puzzle when we're looking at a leader. And if there's one stage that's dominant for them, that's part of their profile. But human beings are more complex than that, can't just be put in boxes. So it's important to hold it lightly and see it as one perspective on a leader, but one that can provide us with useful information. So what we're going to do in the next session is zoom in on 3 fairly advanced stages of leadership development and look at some of the qualities and characteristics of those stages.